I'm Adam Anschel for Pro Football Weekly with a positional analysis of the linebackers in this year's draft, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Joined by our draft expert, Nolan Naraki. Nolan, there's really one guy that stands out above the rest, but there are a couple guys that may fit into that first, second round area. Tell us about them.
Well, the main guy is Von Miller from Texas A&M. He's an elite pass rusher with an explosive first step. He's the guy that is going to be the difference maker in the NFL. You got Akeem Ayers from UCLA and Justin Houston from Georgia. The two of them, I think, project as late first-round talents. You look at the tape, the inconsistency with Ayers, the lack of discipline, and I think you see it with Houston as well, the lack of effort. I think those two issues could push these players down somewhat.
For some of these guys, they're going to have to make the conversion from defensive end to outside linebacker in the pros. Who are some of the top guys in that position?
Well, there are five that played with their hand on the ground in college, played defensive end, and I think project outside linebacker. Pittsburgh's Jabal Sheard played injured all year with hand and elbow injuries, and is a guy that could project to the outside linebacker position. You got Brooks Reed from Arizona, who I think really rose up this year, late in the season, gained a lot more interest as we went through the spring, worked out really well. You got Sam Acho from Texas, who I think projects to that outside linebacker position, really would fit well with a team like Pittsburgh. And then you got Dante Moak from Nevada and Chris Carter from Fresno State. I think the two of them both could be Sam linebackers or rush linebackers in the NFL.
Now moving to the inside, maybe not the strength and the depth that we see from the outside position, but who are the top guys?
I think it's a very disappointing class overall. I think it starts with Martez Wilson. He's a very undisciplined player. I think he's a guy that's been very overhyped, but he's going to get looks in the second round, and he's got enough talent to become a starter in the NFL. You got Kelvin Shepard from LSU, Mason Foster from Washington, and Akeem Dent from Georgia. I think all three of those guys could be solid special team contributors. They got the size you look for in the middle of a 3-4 front, and they could turn out to be potential starters as well.
There's also a few guys, much like the defensive ends, that translate better to the outside in the pros. There's also some guys that played inside in college that also are going to have to move outside.
Yeah, you got Colin McCarthy from Miami. I think the injury concerns are the big question. He had a lot of concussions at Miami, and I think if he stays inside, there's going to be too much contact in there for him. He's going to have to move outside to be a productive NFL player. Ross Holman from Ohio State, I think, is overmatched, just too undersized to handle rigors that come inside in the NFL. I think he's got to project better outside. And Nate Irving from North Carolina State is another one who I think he had a very solid season this year. Came back from injury. He's still got the medical concerns that could push him down boards.
So obviously still a lot of guys that maybe will fill specific roles, but maybe not the strength that we've seen other places besides Von Miller. Overall, though, what is your grade for this class?
I'd give it a C-. I think it really drops off after Von Miller, and there are a lot of questions throughout the class, a lot of projections, so I think it's pretty weak overall compared to recent years.
That is a look at the linebacker class in this year's draft. For the best draft coverage, be sure to follow us on Twitter or go to ProFootballWeekly.com.